If I were a civilized person, I would redo my hair, but I am not, so that is what it is. And I am in my gigantic warm comfy, and my heater is on, because it is not warm in California these days. When I woke up this morning, it was 30 degrees, which meant, and I don't sleep with my heater on, so I had it on last night while I was awake, and it was nice and cozy, but overnight, it had time to get kind of cool, so, yeah, anyway, I was warm. I was fine all night, I wasn't at risk again. Oh, normally I start with talking about, reactions, and then I talk about other things later, but I'm gonna talk about life first, and then I'll get into notes. So first, I got two Christmas presents that I want to share. So first, my friend made this for me. I don't know if it's cross stitch or what. I'm not like up on the wording, but I don't know if you know who this is. This is Powerline from a Goofy movie, and she made this for me. Oh my god, that's like my favorite movie from when I was a kid, and it's one of the greatest soundtracks of all time, Disney or otherwise. Oh my god, it's like the best gift ever. I am so touched. I knew she was doing a cross stitch or whatever it's called for me, but I didn't know it'd be that. I was like screaming when she gave it to me. And then I'm gonna struggle to hold this up, but I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. It's a shirt, the tank top, and it says, "I flew on a banshee" for Avatar Flight of Passage from Disney's Animal Kingdom, aka my favorite ride ever. I think I mentioned to you guys there is a sticker on my laptop, which is a nod to that ride also, because I love it so much. My mom gave me that for Christmas, and I was so happy. And I recognized it immediately, of course, because I was like, I love Avatar Flight of Passage, it's the best. So that was really fun. My week was up and down. So everything that happened was great. It's just that there were things that did not happen. Most notably, my train trip got canceled. Apparently, the weather out west has been so bad with like record snowfall that they delayed some trains by 9 to 12 hours, and mine, they just outright canceled. So I was left stranded with no way home. It didn't end up being that bad, but I did cry over it because I thought my epic vacation that I'd been excited about for months was canceled, and then I was going to have to spend almost as much money on a flight back, but I didn't, thankfully, because my sister is a flight attendant, and she let me use her flight benefits to fly home, and I could not be more grateful. I don't know if my trip insurance is going to cover any of it. I haven't reached out to them yet, and I need to, but I was supposed to take the train from Chicago to San Francisco, or to Oakland, and then I was going to drive from San Francisco home, which made sense to me, and it would have been easy. And I was supposed to go with my dad, and I rarely see him these days. I've seen him twice at his house, basically, or in New Jersey, I mean. He doesn't travel much, so it was going to be really exciting for him to get out, see the country, and then he was going to fly from San Francisco down to Anaheim to see my sister, and that was going to be really exciting because she doesn't get to see him much either. And he was so excited to travel, but then when everything got messed up, he ended up having to cancel his whole trip. Also, Omicron, like, I'm aware that's an issue. So, and he's older. He's double vaxxed and boosted, but he's older and not in the greatest health. So, maybe it was for the best. But I'm still sad because I wanted to see the country, and I thought the Zephyr train with the snow-capped mountains would have been beautiful, but maybe I'll book it for the spring or summer next time. Because I'm going to go someday. Bucket list item. But when my sister let me fly standby, I actually got upgraded to first class, which was amazing. It was also another bucket list item. So one bucket list item canceled, and another one, I got set up by accident, so that was great. I gave the gate agents and flight attendants Starbucks gift cards and thank you cards, which is kind of something like they suggest you have something for them for like when you're flying standby. I actually had bought them before I was supposed to be flying standby, and I was going to give them to them just because I was flying at the holidays. But it worked out because I had them for standby anyway, and then they upgraded me, which may not have been because of that, and they were so nice to me, and I got to eat an actual meal on the plane, which is good because my flight was over 6 hours and I had forgotten to eat beforehand, and I would have been very hungry if I did not. Yeah, that would not have been super smart. Oh, I'm looking at my notes like I was talking from notes. I was talking about real life. So I saw 2 of my grandmothers. I have 3. One of them is immunocompromised and therefore does not let people who are traveling into her house, and I fully respect that. So I will call her and only talk to her that way for now. But I saw the other 2, and it was really, really great. I was masked like almost the entire time when I was close to them. And like my one grandmother and I went to church, which is the first time I've been in a church in almost 2 years. And I used to go like all the time. But, so that was really nice, because I haven't seen her, and that was like a good setting to see her, and we like chatted. My sister Daphne, who was in town too, we chatted with her at her house too. And then my other grandmother, we went for a walk in, this quaint little cute, not small town, but like just adorable, quaint kind of town, in Pennsylvania. And obviously I saw my parents, and the outdoor activity that we normally do every Christmas Day, Longwood Gardens in Pennsylvania, which is like a beautiful light display, plants, flowers. Oh my god, it's gorgeous. Some indoor parts, some outdoor parts. They limited capacity, that's our theory, so we were not able to go this year, and I had been thinking about that for 2 full years, hoping that I could finally go, and then we didn't. So that was a huge disappointment. But it's okay. And then I went to see my best friend who lives in North Jersey. I used to, like, when I lived in North Jersey, we were in Hoboken and Jersey City, I would see her 5 times a week. So seeing her twice a year has been kind of hard. But I still talk to her every day, so it's okay. But it was really nice. I got to hang out with them, and then I went to Vermont, where there was snow on the ground, which was offensive. Just kidding. It wasn't actually that cold, so we actually went for a hike in the woods in the snow, and it was really precious and adorable and cute and perfect. And we were in like a small town in basically Middlebury. And like walking around Middlebury, I spent the entire time like, oh my god, this is so cute and so Vermont. This looks exactly like what Vermont should look like the whole time. I bet it was super annoying. So I was just happy because I hadn't seen those friends since 2019. And like, I was masked as much as possible. I was trying to be as smart as possible. I haven't come down with symptoms yet, so hopefully I'm still okay. I might get a test if I can. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, because getting tests is really hard these days. I am having this like, what else is there moment. I ended up, because my train got canceled, I ended up having, ironically, to take a consolation prize Amtrak, same company, different train, back to New York City, where I then spent New Year's Eve in my friend's apartment. We definitely were not going out for New Year's Eve. And we watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and like YouTube and stuff. And so it was kind of nice because I got to do a holiday with her and not be alone. Like, I was worried I'd be alone for that. And then I flew out on New Year's Day at 8 a.m., which I figured was my only chance to get on a standby flight, because later in the day people would have recovered enough to fly back, or the second, all those flights are probably booked up and there's no standby anyway. So I was giving myself the best chance to get on, because when you're standby, it's not a guarantee. And so I didn't want to risk missing my way back home. And those flights were expensive at the last second. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to say. Alright. Kate, I wish you the best of luck regarding power outages not happening anymore, or as minimally as possible. Oh, I had one more thing I wanted to say. I forgot. So when I got to my friend's house in Vermont, I saw this little bag of tea, and I don't have it in my hand, but bag of tea, picture, sitting on the counter, and it was chocolate peppermint black tea or something. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my god, that sounds amazing. And they just started cracking up, and they were like, it's yours. Apparently they had gotten it as a gift for someone, but then had forgotten who that someone was, and after that had not been able to find anyone who thought that sounded like a good idea for tea. And I was there like, oh yes, I will drink this all the time, because chocolate peppermint tea is right up my alley. So that was kind of hilarious. And I have it. They gave it to me and I had it this morning. I like chocolate and peppermint, so it works for me. Yeah, I'm sorry about the snow. Like, snow can be cute in small doses, but it can also be problematic in large doses. So I hope it ends up better. And then snow and rain together is disgusting and the bane of my existence. and was one of my least favorite things about working in New York. Was dealing with like slush all the time and ice, and it's just miserable. The bulk packaging for the yeast is super interesting and disappointing because it sounds like it's not actually the ingredient that you're even looking for that has it. It's literally just the agent to keep it from going bad, which is really disappointing because it's like if they could just come up with a different agent, the actual contents would still be the same. So that's really sad. I'm sorry. I'm glad the booster symptoms were better, and I'm glad ibuprofen helped. If that had an impact there, that's great. I'm holding my phone with my pinky, as we have discussed, and it is not feeling great. The oatmeal chocolate chip cookies sound amazing. I actually really like that flavor when I get those. I'm glad you can have a version of that that works for you. Though grinding the flour sounds absolutely exhausting, and I don't think, like, obviously exhaustion with medical conditions makes sense, but I don't think there's anything outrageous about being exhausted from that many steps that are that involved. So, I'm glad you have a chance to do it sometimes, but I totally understand not doing it all the time, because that would just be a lot. The laptop reminder working, I think is great. Because I definitely would have forgotten if you hadn't, and it probably would have come up somewhere halfway through the video, and I would have been like, oh man, a second time. So, the reminder system is good. I didn't know the Caribbean pronunciations were both correct. I just assumed one of them was wrong. So that's a really interesting fact to me, because I didn't know which one was wrong, and I somehow never looked it up, but it's good to know that they're both right. Like, my mind was blown when you said that. That keyboard, oh my god, I was staring at the screen that whole time, like, you know, like, what is the name of that keyboard? Because I want to try it. I tried to Google, like, 9-button keyboard and wasn't getting a name for it. So I'm curious. I don't think I would use it all the time because I'm, like, a two-handed typer, but I would be curious to try it just once, and Google wasn't helpful. I have an Android phone, so if it's something that's only Apple compatible, that wouldn't actually help. But, I have an Apple phone that I use as an iPod, but it's very, very old and can't take new apps sometimes, so it may or may not be able to work if it is Apple only. So, drop the name, either way, just in case, though Android would, you know, be the ideal. But I was amazed to look at it because it's like, I can understand how from the O you're swiping in every direction to get to all those letters, but I'm also just like, and also in the corners it's going towards the center, so it's like, okay, I can see the logic for having all the buttons that way, but I feel like it would be really easy to mess up, and I feel like I can't tell if I would be good at that, or if I would just be super slow and confused all the time. And I think you're right, like, there's a learning curve, there's muscle memory to it, just like any other typing system. Like, a lot of the keyboards we use are not necessarily logical, we're just used to them. So it's probably that too, but I'm just curious. And I'd be curious to try it. And, oh god, there was something else I wanted to say about my life that was not related to the trip, or the gifts. And what was that thing? I don't know, I'm blanking. Next week then. DFTBA, and I hope you had a great rest of your holiday week.